Hey, what's up everybody? My name's Roy Boy, and today we're bringing another live TCGO Online battle. Today we're going to be doing another fun deck, which is going to be Mega Steelix. A lot of people have been talking about this, and I have been trying this out ever since Steam Siege came out, because it's so intriguing, and trying to see if I can make something like this actually work. I've tried the Clawitzer version, and I've tried the Carbink version, and I can say that I do prefer the Carbink version. So we're going to take a look and see why this deck actually isn't as bad as you'd think it would be. So, we have the Mega Steelix. It is a steel and a fighting type, so it could use both of those. It has the attack Canyon Axe. For 1 steel and 4 colorless, it does 160 and 10 to their bench. Now you may be thinking, that's a lot to commit, and it very much is. But the fact that it's able to take advantage of strong fighting means that it could easily one-shot. It doesn't have a downside, which usually those decks that do this amount of damage does. The only downside is getting the energy on there. So can we actually do that? Well, it can take advantage of double colorless, and it can actually take advantage of Carbink Break. For those of you who don't know what Carbink Break does, Carbink Break for 1 fighting, so it does 20 damage, and then you may search your deck for 2 energy, any energy, from your discard pile, and attach it to one of your fighting Pokemon. So it has to be the Mega Steelix, because regular Steelix isn't fighting, but it could be double colorless, it could be strong fighting, it could be anything. So, yeah. It's actually not too bad. So what happens is you run a 3-3 line of the Carbink to help set up in the early game, and then you run a 3-3 line of Mega Steelix, and you use that to just start taking easy prizes. You run 2 Shaman for the consistency, and 1 Hoopa because you really are running a Mega deck, so that's just kind of how it is. 4 Sycamore, pretty much standard in a deck like this. 1 N is also standard. 2 Lysander. I like the 2 Lysander if you can run a deck that's one-shot Shamans, and this very much can, so I do prefer the 2 Lysander. The 1 Hex Maniac, just to lock down all the abilities in format. There's stuff that kind of block you, which is kind of annoying. I could name off all of them, but we'd be here all day. So it's not a bad card just to have in general. And 1 Olympia. Olympia is here to replace the AZ. Switch your Pokemon and heal 30 from the bench. So basically, it's just replacing the AZ. But it's still pretty nice to have. You'd be surprised how often this actually is pretty good. So, there's that. That's the supporters. 4 Versus Seeker, 4 Ultra Ball, and 4 Trainer's Mail, all standard in this. By the way, I usually do run a Ninja Boy in the real-life version, but Ninja Boy is still banned on TCGO. I believe I only run 1 Parallel City instead of 2, so if you want to actually run the list that I run in real life, there you go. 1 Switch, everyone's pretty bulky in here, so you kind of do want to run the Switch. And then 1 Escape Rope for the exact same reason. 1 Super Rod, pretty much because you have a lot of different Pokemon and it's love to chuck them back in. And 1 Special Charge in case you can't actually get the Carbink off. For the Stadium, 2 Parallel City. It's nice to lock them down into reducing damage. Often it helps with the fire matchup a bit, and not only that, it helps you get your Shamans and your Mega Steel or your Hoopa off the board, which means that they either have to deal with the 240 HP Mega Steelix or they have to deal with the Safeguard Carbink. So that's both not easy targets to knock out for a lot of decks. For the tools, you run 4 Spirit Link, pretty much to get them consistently, and then 2 Floatstone to help attach to the Carbink so you can retreat easy, and then a 4/4/4 line of energy. You really do not need to run anything other than special in this, at least that I find, so it actually works rather well. We're just going to name, gosh, what are we going to name? I don't even know. What's Canyon Axe? I don't know. Axe. I can't think of anything. I'm terrible. But no, it's actually a deck that you would think would be really bad, but it's not terrible. I ran it at the XY on. It was XY to. I ran it in XY to Steam Siege standard tournament at Worlds, the bigger one at the side event kind of thing. Obviously, it was just a side event, and I actually went 3-1 and finished in 2nd place. So it actually did not go too bad. I beat some very good opponents and some very good decks. A lot of meta decks. So it's not that bad. If you can actually get it going, you can consistently do 180 damage. You can one-shot Megas pretty easy. Yeah, you're very bulky too. It's just getting going. So you've got a little bit of a slower game, but it works. It actually works rather well. So we're going to see if we can't get into a good game here. It's definitely something I would recommend trying. I kind of recommend all my decks to try, except if they're like I just hate playing. I mean, I'm just showing you because it's meta. Um, but you know, it's definitely a fun deck if you have like the Mega Steelixes and stuff like that. Go for it. They're not super expensive if I remember correctly. They're not cheap, but you know, if you're just wanting to have just a fun deck to run at League or some LCs or something like that, try this out. It's worth it. It's worth your time. So we're starting off with Steelix here. You can see it's really bulky. Probably not going to go the greatest. We can see we're facing fairies, which is great because it's weak to metal. We can see we fail one Trainer's Mail. We need to hit something, otherwise we may be stuck. Okay, we did hit something. We have to take the Professor Sycamore. I'm going to attach a rainbow. I know I'm not attacking this turn, so I'm really not too worried about that. I'll discard those. It's a little unfortunate for the Carbinks, all that Carbink stuff to go away, but it's really not the worst. There's no point in attaching the Spirit Link this turn, in fact, just because we might need the Floatstone later. He can Megaphone it off, whatever. Like, there's many reasons why you don't really want to attach it right away. Maybe next turn we have an interesting decision. Do we Mega Evolve into the Steelix, or do we get the Carbink going, kind of thing? It kind of just depends how their turn is. If it looks like we'll have time, then I would actually probably go that route. We can see it goes for the Max Elixir. It does fail it. Going for another Max Elixir. And he scoops. He must have failed the second one. So there we go. We have one game under our belt. Yes, there's new versus things available. I just saw that. But hey, you know, so we're waiting for this whole animation to go. Yay, we got 25 coins. Helps with getting another pack, I guess. I just use my coins on either if I like the promo to get the promo stuff, or most of the time I'll just get the newest pack. Just because I usually do need stuff. I'm getting close to getting everything I need for Steam Siege, but I'm still getting there. I'm surprised how well I've been able to get everything. But we'll have to see. I definitely want to get this all situated before next, about actually 2 months is when Evolutions comes out. So I'm actually not in a bad spot. We're gonna do both Steelixes. There's really no reason not to bench both. We're not gonna bench the Hoopa. And we're just gonna see what they get here. We can see we're facing Volcannon, so we go from our best matchup to our worst one. The Parallel City does help out a bit with this matchup, but it still doesn't do great because it does reduce the damage before weakness. But they can still steam up and really just start to run through. So basically our goal in this matchup is to be like, okay, we know that we're going to be taking knockout for knockout and just basically going, okay, kill the 3 EXs. Hopefully we can survive a hit. If not, then we just try to be consistent. What is it? The Carbink does help out a bit with this matchup, but it's still not great. This is definitely not a good matchup for you, and this is one of the reasons why this deck is on the Fun Friday part of this channel instead of the actual meta. And trust me, I actually thought about it. But I know you guys want to see some other decks. Well, by the way, put in the comments down below what decks you want to see. I watch the comments, just not many people comment, I guess. We can see he goes Giovanni, going to draw those extra cards. That's fine. He had to burn a Versus Seeker on that, so that's good news. We can see he gets the Scorched Earth down. The Energy Reset. That's really interesting. To put it back into the hand, I don't know why you would really do that. I guess those 2 cards are worth it, but I don't see it. I would wait till the next turn. You're not attacking this turn. You might as well just see what happens. But you know, that's just what he wanted to do, and that's fine. What we're gonna do is we're gonna play down the Hoopa. We're going to search our deck for some basics. I think overall I'm just grabbing a Shaman. Nothing else, actually. But we need that Shaman. Now you may be thinking, why'd you bench the Hoopa? It's like, because I want to get this for the Carbink, too. So we're going to go like this. We're going to discard those 2, because we really don't need those right now. We're going to get the Carbink. We're going to attach a Fighting Energy to the Carbink. And we're going to Shaman for the 5 cards. So hopefully get something a little bit better than what we were hoping for, or not hoping for, but before that. We can see really not the greatest. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play the Ultra Ball, and I'm going to discard those 2. I really don't need them right now to grab another Shaman. I know I'm being a little bit risky with the Shamans, but I have the Parallel City, which I will actually get rid of a lot of stuff. So I'm actually going to draw some more. That's why I didn't play down the Parallel City, because I'm just going to bounce my own guys here. We're going to Transmail first, see what we get. We get the Sycamore, which is nice. We do have to burn quite a bit, but I really do want to get this Carbink into the active slot. Yeah, I don't want to burn all that, but I mean, we do have Carbink that would accelerate back to it anyway, so we're really not in that bad of a spot. We could certainly Lysander if we want and try to stall for a turn. Yeah, that's not a bad option necessarily, but I don't think it's that great. But the thing is, though, like, there's nothing that we could really do outside of this turn. So, in fact, I'm just going to go like this. I'm going to flip it around, so I can get rid of some of my stuff. We're going to get rid of a Hoopa and a Shaman. The reason being the Hoopa has a high retreat cost. I really don't want to burn stuff on that. And we're just going to wait. We're just going to wait on our turn. There's nothing else that we really need to do. I guess we could have played the Lysander, but I want to see how this pans out. I'm kind of sacrificing the Steelix, I think, in the end. I guess we could have Versus Secret for the Lysander. I probably should have done that. But I'm really not in a bad spot. We're going to see. We're going to go for the Sycamore. We're going to mill a lot of stuff. I wanted to keep the Ultra Ball, though, to be fair. And I didn't really want to get rid of both Strong Fightings. So I guess that's why I did that there. I want to keep my options open. So we can see right here he attaches another Fire Energy. We can see he goes for the Trainer's Mail. I'm not super bummed if he actually does knock out the Steelix EX, because then I don't have to dig for the switch. Yeah, I'm not super bummed if that happens. We can see he goes for the Professor's Letter. Yeah. So we'll have the break. The only thing that we have to worry about is actually getting a Mega Steelix out. Now, of course, do we really need the Mega Steelix in this matchup? That's kind of, kind of like you can debate that, certainly. I would still like to have one because it still gives us a lot of one-shot potential. So I think that that's our best bet. So, yeah. We're going to be playing the Sycamore next turn, most likely. Going to try to dig for that Spirit Link and the Mega. We can see he gets another Volcanon. That's not too bad. Like, I don't mind him benching these, because that's just easy prizes, in the sense of being like, we have a chance of actually knocking those out. So we can see he steams up quite a bit. Is that enough for knockout? No, it's not. It's 120. Okay. Yeah. So you don't get knocked out. That's good news. We can see right here he gets another one of those. We really don't need those right now. We're going to play the Ultra Ball, and we're going to discard the Sycamore and a Fighting Energy. So I guess me delaying kind of hurt me in the end there. But we'll grab the Carbink Break. We'll do that there. We will attach to the Carbink Break, and then we're going to do this for the Sycamore. Hopefully getting like a Float Stone, something to retreat, basically. And we can see we do get basically everything we need. Yes, we do, basically. So we're going to play the Escape Rope, see what he picks. He has to pick an EX, which is great news for us. But we'll have to see what they decide, what they think is best. If they pick the, okay, so we can see they just picked the Volcanon because it has, the Float Stone. That makes sense. We're just going to actually Diamond Gift, so we'll do 60 damage, which is not too bad, honestly. And we'll attach the DCE and the Rainbow. The reason I'm grabbing the Rainbow is because that means that we're DCE away from attacking. We could have grabbed the Strong Fighting if we really wanted to and start to do swing for 180. But I think overall, if we get the DCE, we're in a good spot. They have to try to move around this Carbink anyway, because they're going to have trouble actually dealing with that. Because they're going to have a hard time actually killing that thing off. We can see he goes for the Versus Seeker. Going to go for the Lysander. That makes sense. Probably going to Lysander up this Steelix. They could also do this one as well, because they'll knock it out with the Flareon on the bench. So yeah, they're going to go after this one. So that's not good news at all. So it really didn't matter what we attached. We can see it goes for the Blaze Ball, going to go to the 220, and it doesn't knock us out, actually. I completely forgot. So that's really good news. We're going to attach the DC there. And what we're going to do is we can Canyon Axe and do a lot of damage, but that doesn't help us right now, actually. I would much rather just retreat into this. So 1, 2, 3. Oh, whoops, not. Just discard the 2 DCEs there. I'm not going to play the Hex because that would be really bad. I'm just going to play the Professor Sycamore and just see if I can't get something else going. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to Diamond Gift for another 60 damage. And I'm going to accelerate the 2 DCs because now we can actually knock that out if we want to. But we are not in a bad spot now. The Parallel City, as you can see, does help in this matchup. It's not great, and it doesn't fix everything, but it fixes some problems. So we're in a good spot. This is fully powered up. When we attach the strong energy, it can actually one-shot basically anything. We can see it goes for the Fisherman. Basically our goal right now is to be like, okay, so now we've set up to where we can take a lot of knockouts in succession. How are we going to do it, basically? Like, how are we going to get those prizes? We can see it goes for the Power Heater, going to do 60 damage. Not enough to knock us out, which is good news. We do just have to go after EXs. That's kind of the big thing here. So, let's see what we want to do here. We can Lysander, certainly, attack and retreat and attack. I'm not sure how effective that would be, but actually, it wouldn't be that bad. So what we're going to do is we're going to retreat into this. We are being a little risky here, to be fair, because he is going to get like a return knockout, but we're going to get some prizes here, too, because we get that off the board. So we're going to attach that there. And we're going to do the Canyon Axe for the knockout. And we do 10 to their bench, which really doesn't matter too much. We're kind of expecting them to just take a return knockout, but at least this is on our terms. We take the little bit of the lead there. We can see we're setting up another Carbink, which is good. We have the Versus Seeker in hand to help try to take out these guys on the bench here. We're not in a bad spot at all. And that's assuming he gets everything powered up, but, I mean, he's got something powered up and ready to attack us now. We can see he attaches to the bench Volcanon. Because he goes for the Versus Seeker. Going to go for the Professor Sycamore, so he did hit that. Going to Professor Sycamore and see what he gets here. We're not too worried, once again. Because he bounces our Stadium, so that's a little bit unfortunate. But once again, we're not in a bad spot. So we can see right here he's going to just Professor's Letter, going to get some stuff going. We do have to worry about these Volcanons a little bit because they actually can start doing damage to us through the Carbink. But like I said, we're not in a bad spot. Because he goes for the Fighting Fury Belt, going to attach it to the bench guy. That makes sense because, you know what I mean, he's going to be an attacker against a Carbink. We can see this has 110 HP left. We really can't do that much damage in order to knock it out as much as I want to. This goes for the Power Heater, going to knock us out, going to do that damage, going to get 2 prizes. It's going to go to those 2 guys there. We're going to obviously send up Carbink. I think that's pretty much a given at this point. Going to attach that there. Going to attach the Floatstone to the active Carbink, just in case. We're gonna do the Parallel City, and we're gonna flip it once again, making it so that he does the reduced damage because that was helping a lot earlier. Now we can Lysander up and actually start hitting something, but I'm not sure how useful that will actually be, because the Carbinks are just really good at walling at the moment. We could end and try to start setting up a Mega Steelix, but I don't know. I think probably our best bet. First, I'm going to attach this here. The reason being, yeah, I take a little bit more damage, but if we could set up another thing that gives us a chance to taking two additional prize, or take 2 prizes in one swing, and then we're just going to end. So we did get the Steelix Spirit Link, which is nice. We're going to Trainer's Mail, see what we hit here. We can see we hit the Special Charge. Let me just see how many Mega Steelixes are in the discard pile real quick. So we should have 2 left, so we should be fine. So I don't think we need the Super Rod. I think the Special Charge will be a lot more useful. Now we did get that, which is good news. I'm not going to use the Special Charge yet. No, I'm going to use it now, actually. I'm going to Special Charge, and I'm going to chuck a Special Fighting and a Rainbow. The reason being just for later on, because I figure I'm going to use the DCs on the Steelix, assuming I get it. So what we're going to do is we're going to Diamond Gift for a decent amount of damage, but not great. And we're basically going to accelerate the Special Fighting and, I guess, the Rainbow to this Carbink on the bench and get that ready to go. So hopefully the end him down to low prevents him from knocking us out. He would have to get a couple. I think he just has to get 1 steam up. So, because he would retreat into that one and then steam up. So, but he retreats instead into the Volcanon EX. That's an interesting decision, but we can see right here he's just going to Lysander, so that makes sense. Going to Lysander up the Steelix that I had on the bench. And then Volcanic Heat for the knockout. We can see that that's quite a bit of damage. But he is locked into the active in the sense of he has no easy escape. We're just going to send this up because it has free retreat. So we're going to Trainer's Mail, see what we get. We don't need any of that. And we got to Versus Seeker him and end him down to 2. I think that's just the best bet at this point, and just kind of hope. Now, you may be thinking, why are you going to bench the Steelix here? And the reason being, he already has the Lysander for the, damage. Now, what we could do is we could actually retreat into the other Carbink. Do we really need to set something else up? The chances of him knocking us out are a little low on terms of being able to actually finish us off. Do we want to try to set up another Steelix? That's just basically the question. And, if he gets a Lysander, he wins already. So there's no harm in doing this. There's no harm at all, because we are already pretty much screwed if he has it. So what we're going to do is we are just going to Power Gem. We're going to actually do the bigger attack, because we don't need to accelerate at all, because this guy already is fully powered up. And basically is like that. So yeah, if he has the Lysander, then he would have gone after the Shaman anyway. There's no reason. We might as well set this up and just see what we got. But he hits the Lysander, because of course he does. Can he actually finish us off, though? This Volcanon can't attack. We're going to have to end him if that's the case, if he can't. But what does he go after here? Does he actually try to Lysander up the Steelix? Or doesn't he? We have the Float Stone, so we're not in terrible position if he does decide to go that route. But what does he try to do here? That's actually a really interesting question. You can see this Volcanon only has 90 HP. He just decides to pass. Now, that's interesting. But what we have to do this. We're gonna attach the Spirit Link here. We're going to Versus Seeker for the N, and we have to N him. I mean, that's just basically it. I can't see how many cards that are left in his deck. We can see he has 12. Okay, now I can. We can see we could have 12. We did get the Special Fighting. Now, that's interesting, because Power Gem can actually do 100 damage now. So we're just going to evolve into this. We might as well. There's really no reason not to. We're going to attach to the active here, and we're going to Power Gem for the knockout and take actually 2 prize cards. And we get 2 prizes here. Not sure what we really need. We got a Mega Steelix. We got 2 Mega Steelix. So 3 out. So actually, we had a lot of Mega Steelix prized. It just basically comes down to, can we power up? If we can power up a Mega Steelix, we can actually win this game. But I think all of our Versus Seekers and Lysanders are in the discard pile. So he would have to promote a EX. And I just don't think he's going to do that. I don't see any reason why he would. But we're not in a bad spot. Once again, we're not. We're certainly in a winnable position. We'll just have to see how this goes here. So we can see right here we're going to evolve into the Steelix. We're going to Rainbow Energy into the Steelix. We're going to Trainer's Mail, see what we got left in the deck here. We can see we got a Switch and a Float Stone. Neither of those really help. I guess I'll grab the Switch just in case kind of thing. I guess might need it later. So, yeah. And then we're going to Diamond Gift. It doesn't do that much, but we can accelerate and actually get set up. So we can actually start attacking now with the Mega Steelix. I'm not really like I said, I'm not sure how good of a position we're in, but hey, that's just how it is. So we can see right here, he attaches a Fire Energy to the Volcanon. I'm a little surprised he's doing that and not one of the bench guys. But hey, he's going to Power Heater, only going to do 10 damage to us, which is not a lot. And he's just going to accelerate to those Volcanons. That tells me that he probably has an attack ready. We're out of Versus Seeker, we're out of Lysander, and we're out of Escape Rope. The question is, can he really do that much damage? And it comes down to whether if he has the Fire Energy in his hand, I think, honestly. So, yeah, it really just comes down to that. We're going to switch. Yeah, we're going to switch into him. It's the only option we have. It really is, and just kind of depends on if they got it. So we're going to Canyon Axe for the knockout. We're going to do 10 to everything, and it basically comes down to whether he has the energy, because if he has the energy, he's just going to knock us out with one of those. I don't have any way of really manipulating or waiting on a Lysander to Lysander up the Shaman. I don't have that later in the game. It just kind of comes down to that. We can see he does send up this Volcanon. That tells me he probably has it. Yep, we can see he has it. It was a really close game, though. And you know what? That actually went better than I thought it was going to. So you got to see the best matchup and the worst matchup. So I think that this was pretty good. It was pretty consistent overall, and especially with them Lysandering up these Steelix that we tried to power up and one-shotting it. Most of the time, they cannot one-shot Steelix because he has 140 HP, he resists Psychic, and he's just a really big tank. But anyways, I would thank you guys for watching. Please hit that subscribe button. This helped me out a lot. If you'd like to see something in the next video, please let me know, and I will see you then. Thank you.